The real estate sector right now is a mess. But imagine paying 400 million for a house and you are seeing streak of paint.
You have to go through all of the process if you want to sleep and close your eyes in Nigeria of today.
Is rent likely to fall now? Dollar is stable. I don't understand.
It's the same excuse, rising cost of things. So long as this continue to go, rent will continue to go.
I know what I went through to build my house. You don't know, maybe I've gone to one financial institution and they have given me a ridiculous interest rate. What's the thing that drives the price of a land?
This is Lagos and a lot of things are going on. You're welcome to another episode of the Well Street podcast, where real life meets money. And today we are going to be talking about real estate. We're going to be talking about all things real estate. And with me here, I have great people to my right. I always have great people here on set. So to my right, I have...
My name is Olayiwole.
Thank you for coming.
Babatunde Adedeji.
Come on. It's the Babatunde Adedeji. So let's even start with this year. I was trying to get an apartment. And there were a lot of back and forth, agents, millions of naira. That's not even the gist. Now, the storyline is in the fact that I was now looking back. I was looking at my gallery, my screenshots, and I saw that in 2021, like the same 2-bedroom apartment that is in millions now was actually like 400K just in 2021.
Right.
So there's been a lot of stress and, talks about real estate in Nigeria. Maybe there's even a housing bubble. I know there was a time that some people were talking about, maybe there's likely housing bubble coming up. So I want you to, let's just talk about it. Like, let's just really unpack it. What's going on in Nigeria's real estate? Like, what's happening?
Recently, my house rent was increased. So let me give you a backstory.
Yeah.
My rent was due in February, so I paid down my rent, obviously. And then, as I was paying, my landlord, his lawyer, was informing me that by my next rent, this is what I will be paying.
Yeah.
I took a very heavy sigh. I was like, you know what? At least I have enough time to prepare for it. Couple of months down the line, I received another notice from my landlord to say that my house rent has now been doubled from the existing one that I'm yet to pay. I went on a rampage. I went on social media. I went on Lagos State website. I was watching different real estate news to know what to do, how to undo this to myself. But anyways, at the end of the day, I gave up. Because at the end of the day, the guy is a lawyer, he knows what he's doing. He gave me up to more than 6 months notice, even for the 2 increase that he gave to me. So the real estate industry or sector right now is a mess. And I'll tell you why. When I went to complain to my landlord, he said the owner of the house, he has different apartments, right? But he's not really based in Lagos. But he's currently in Lagos. The house that he's staying in Lagos, he's also renting. He said the only reason why he gave us second increase was because they increased his own house rent. So, and it's the rent that we pay that he uses to pay for his own rent. Can you imagine?
That's sad.
It was terrible. And the guy, he said, in Lagos State today, if you put out sand in front of your compound to say you want to renovate, you must pay.
Exactly.
There's nothing that you are and everything for developers like him is becoming increasingly expensive to carry out any construction within Lagos State. And who is going to bear the cost at the end of the day is the tenants.
So what's really happening, Babatunde?
So I think Bowale has addressed this from an emotional angle, right? And I understand you.
I understand. We understand.
However, some of these guys are actually facing the same problem as you're facing. And I'll give you analogy, right? Typically, it's going to take you 12 to 18 or even 24 months, depending on how big your project is. And a lot of these developers you see in the market, they are not so lettered. And maybe after conversations like this, some of them can take a cue and then start doing things the right way, right? So some of them go into this project with a vague mind that, I need 100 million to finish these 3 units of 2-bedroom, without putting any proper feasibility, contingency, consideration, market move, and all that bit, right? So it's just going to the construction.
Right.
For example, maybe you start your construction when a ton of iron was maybe 2 million for 12 mm, 16 and all of that. Cement was maybe 6,005. You start at 6,005, you move. Maybe you act like a Baba Jebu that when I need it is when I buy. Then Baba Jebu buys 200 bags of cement at the foundation level. When it gets to lintel, cement market has moved.
Yeah.
Cement is now 8,500. Baba Jebu will still buy.
Yes,
he will go ahead to finish his project. But you see all those inflation that has affected him, all those statutory lucky sides, go and give that man 200 million, go and give this one 100,000 or money like came, that kind of thing. You give them money. All of these things, Baba would calculate it at the end, and he's going to spread it. So maybe he's going to take a 10-year loan or facility, or he has even projected from a financial strong point. You say, oh, you want to project your exit in year 10, right? And your feasibility, even if it's a corporate that is doing it, right? You project your exit at year 10. So you have to find a way to spill all this into a 10-year model, and then your capital appreciation, you have an aspiration you have pegged to it, maybe due to the way the area is moving or whatnot. So all of this is what Bowale is feeling or the immediate. And I'll tell you an experience. So when I started managing my current portfolio here, I think some areas in Ikoyi were still doing 12 million. And these people would pay their rent. So we went into the market to do feasibility. Same apartment within the same block. So take, for instance, I own flats 2B, and then another person owns flat 3B. Flat 3B is paying 40 million. Why should my own flat 2B be paying 12.5? I consider you because you're a good tenant, you are managing my house well, I push you to 25. I have considered you, right? Remember, someone is paying higher in the same block. I give you that 25, you now start shouting, maybe you do a little bit like, I will not take this, I will not take that. And I say, okay, Kuku, let's face real life reality. And then give you 40. And then you shout. You then go out to say you want to go and rent a new one. And you find out that in that new one, they're asking for 45. After you pay 45, you pay agency. Maybe one big company is your agent, they take 10%. Lawyer, 10%. Security deposit, 10%. How won't you go back to me, your landlord, to say, please, can I still pay the 25? So it's the reality and what the market is. So it's not easy, but it's what. So what we have
does this mean? So what I'm getting is, it's upward forever. Is that, or are we likely to see a time where there will be maybe a crash? I don't want to use crash as the word now. Like, is rent likely to fall or at least go down? At least inflation is coming down now. Dollar is stable. I don't understand.
This question that you asked is a very valid question. And with the way things are going, realistically, I do not believe. I don't want to speak on a confirmatory tone, but look at it this way. When I moved to Onike area, that's Unilag area, about 6 years ago, rent then for a mini flat, right? That's room, parlor, and then kitchen, was about 300, 350.
Yes.
Today, 5 years after, mini flats in not even that area, you have moved further. You have gone to Shomolu just because this area is expensive. Is about 1.5 million naira. Total cost is about 2.2 million. I have a friend that just got an apartment recently. Total cost. Now imagine you now want to get that same mini flat in Onike, Unilag area. They are not going to collect 1.5 million naira from you. And it's the same excuse. Look at what Babatunde just mentioned now. It talks about rising cost of things, materials, inflation, and things like that. You understand? So long as this continue to go, rents will continue to go because at the end of the day, it's the end user that bears the brunt.
Correct.
But the thing is, even when inflation goes down, is there regulation to ensure that the landlord actually, because it's not even a landlord thing now. In Nigeria, whatever goes up never comes down.
So for me, I like that angle where you've come to say regulation. And I want us to think
it's
like regular humans. I know what I went through to get my money, to build my house. You don't know, maybe I've gone to one financial institution and they have given me a ridiculous interest rate. Because I want to have a house, I've gone ahead.
Yeah.
And I'm a Yoruba man, so there's a saying that says Kuba Kodija. That's what the market is. I'm selling for 400 million. You don't want to buy, go to another person and you could buy their thing. So for prices of rental to fall, it has to be controlled by someone who can take the heat. Who is this person? The government. So I won't call names, but there's a familiar person who screams in high tone when he's speaking about real estate and all of that. I understand him, he's passionate, and I respect his campaign. However, one thing I might want him to think is for some of those things to drop, the government has to control the market. So let's give an instance. Yeah. Imagine the government owns 60% of the real estate in Ikoyi.
Okay.
And government is renting their units for 10 million. And all three of us here own the remaining 40%. And we're renting ours for maybe 50 million. Do you know government has to have 100% occupancy first before we will get anybody to rent our own?
Okay.
But current market today, how many units does the government own in Ikoyi? It is you. People, so I think I'm thinking too much because I don't think I can afford Ikoyi. But people like us are the owners of properties in Ikoyi. So it's whatever they call and premium they. Well, speak it into reality.
Okay. Well.
So whatever they call these properties is what we are going to rent. So we need more government intervention. I think the government of the day is trying to bring some renewable hope housing where you have some in Kasana, they're bringing some around the Ekpe corridor access and all of that. Right, that's a good start. Lagos State, Lagos Homes is also doing some and all of that. So some of these things need to be injected in some of these eyebrow areas so they're able to compete with the people who are playing yo-yo with the price. Yeah. So it sort of gives a little bit of balance. So the government influence is also something that is...
Yeah, Bowale has something to add to that.
I don't know. He might want to counter
Bowale
me.
has a lot to say.
I don't want to counter him, but to be honest, I hear everything that you have said, but maybe this is just my own personal view.
Go ahead, please.
You understand? So let's look at it this way. We have said between, in a space of 5 years, the rent of a mini flat has gone between 350,000 to about 2 million.
Yes.
You understand? And that is for regular people. I'm not talking about high net worth individuals. That's another space on its own. So now let's look at it. The rising cost of property keeps going up. And I will set an example. I am a wealth advisor with Meristem, right? Yeah. So there was a time we were trying to acquire a property for a client. The guy had an estimated price of about 400 million. So we kept on seeing houses around that price range. The ones that were lower than that, he didn't like it. You understand? And then eventually he found one. We were supposed to go and view the house. Yeah. We saw the house. We went with his lawyers and everything. He was supposed to get back to us to say, oh, I want this. By the time he got back to us, mind you, it was a space of 3 to 5 days.
Wow.
House of 400 million was quoted as 450 million. Why? So now look at it this way. In as much as we have a lot of private institutions building houses across Ikoyi and the likes, just like he has alluded to, how many of these apartments have up to 40% occupancy? On this Gerard Road alone, we have a lot of apartment buildings here. When you drive to, you can tell that majority of the rooms are empty. And then these prices continue to rise such a way that even the wealthy cannot even afford it. Because if I have that type of money, I'll be saying, why do I want to spend this on this? And mind you, with something we discussed randomly in the office the other day, you get an apartment, it's not up to standard, it's not up to code. Mind you, this client saw a lot that he liked though. But imagine paying 400 million for a house and you are seeing streak of paint on the wall. So I will pay that money, I will have to come and renovate that part. Do you understand? Yeah. You see handrails, the stainless steel falling down or making grand noise. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So make it make sense. We are paying through our teeth for substandard quality. And then, but the thing is, I digress a lot. So like what I'm saying in essence is that the price continues to go up. Less and less people are unable to afford these things. And the way it's going, if we go by what Babatunde said, nobody will want to say, oh, because I spend this money, let me collect less. That means by that idea alone, we expect that real estate prices will not come down because I will never want to take a loss.
So at the end of the day, what we are saying is the government needs to step in, basically.
Government needs to step in.
Really
if private equity keeps running it,
exactly.
Private businesses have come into the market for profitability, and they would not take any BS for, you know.
So another question is for someone like us, not at your level.
Please, let's
for someone like us,
we know our level.
So when one is trying to buy a land, what are the key things that we should look out for when you're buying a land or any kind of property? What are the key things that I know that one is? I don't know if it's in line with what you're going to say, but one is, when you're going to buy a property, buy it during the rainy season, so you know what's going on with leakages and all of that. But what are the things that one should, as a consumer, buying a property, a land, what are the things that we should look out for?
So that's a very good question. So for me, I always come from the angle of technicality, right? So acquisition point, we need to kill the mindset of what will a lawyer do for me on this. A lot of us grew up in the homes where all our daddies were architects. I'm not sure, maybe you remember when maybe your daddy or your... they just put white paper down.
Yes.
I want one room here. I don't want to speak Yoruba. Exactly. They just sketch it and all of that. So the times have gone beyond that. Yeah. By the way, those guys did some good jobs because they built the houses and demolition and the collapse was not really happening then. But substandard things are in the market now. So you have to go through all of the process. If you want to sleep and close your eyes in Nigeria of today, I would narrow down to Lagos and Abuja, who are the major guys. So you sort of need to touch base with the land registry, do a proper due diligence, make sure you get certified confirmations. Don't just do a window check or give it to one Uncle Shola who's just hustling by lands and then he comes back to give you whatever he knows will make you happy so you can give him a good tip. Get a lawyer or any professional. Some estate surveyors do this due diligence, but I think lawyers, estate surveyors, get them to do a due diligence. Let them write a report that certifies to you to either buy that land or that property. When it comes to a property, that's when there's bricks and mortar on it. I think it's best for you to also do an integrity test. There was a conversation Bowale and I were having at the office sometime last week, and we were talking about the consistent humidities in houses. And these things are precautions someone could have taken at the foundation level of building the house and all of that. So these are some of the things that you can, because as little as humidity is, it could actually affect the health of the occupants in that house. So if you even buy for investment, it could aid you to have vacancy, lack of tenants in your house. Because when people go, they say, there's humidity in the house, don't rent it. So you're not even going to earn income on that asset. So those things are quite serious. Get an integrity test done on your property. Check the finishings, like Bowale had said. Make sure all approvals were gotten, the building permits. And Lagos State is actually big on that right now, and applauds to them for that, even though they need to still do more enforce some of those laws. Get all these title documents. Go back to those parties that issued those documents, verify that it's not doctored documents. Then get a lawyer to actually draft a proper contract for you. Some people have believed they've actually bought properties outrightly, whereas they are just leasing. And at the end of a certain period, when they revoke that clause for them, they're like, what do you mean? Don't tell me that. But you've gone into it. So a lawyer is really, really strong on this. And the property lawyer, I'm not saying you should go and get a litigation lawyer. We're not fighting here. Get a property lawyer, people who do these things. due diligence must be done.
Yeah.
Raining season is actually part of the technical due diligence. So there are areas where infrastructure has not fully grown. There are areas where you're close to the swamps, the canals, and all of that, where we know the impact of rain is actually strong. But you would also find that if a proper construction is done, even if you build,
that's not a limitation.
Exactly, it's not a limitation for you to buy a property as long as the technicality assumed at the point of building is good.
So let me buttress a little bit on what you said, especially for swamp areas or whatever it is. If you are buying any land, before you erect a structure on it, you are supposed to do something called a soil test.
Yeah.
A what?
A
Soil test.
Okay.
The soil test is going to tell you what type of foundation. Is it raft? Is it pad?
pile?
Okay.
Is it pile?
I people are listening, oh.
Do you understand? Sorry, I read construction in university, so I know a little bit of all of this. So those are the things that you actually, at the end of the day, if whatever it is that you are buying, whether it's a land or a property, you need to hire a professional.
A professional, yes.
A professional. You
Don't
cannot
use your emotions to buy. That's what we're saying
Don't
here.
say because
It's
I
beautiful,
love this
it's
location.
good location,
No.
yes. And then the financial consideration is also a strong thing we advise from an investment angle. So I need to chip that in because that's very strong. When you find a good house, maybe in an area, be sure of your exit. So when I say be sure of your exit, are you buying to will to your children? Are you buying for investment? Are you buying to live in? So you have to sort of understand what your journey is. Let it also be an informative part of your property. Example is, imagine you buy a terrace and tomorrow maybe it's a 4-block terrace and you're buying units 3 and you say, oh, I want to rebuild. You need the buy-in of every other person in that place. So for you who might want to rebuild in the future, you might need a self-compound. You definitely need a self-compound, right? So if you're the type that, peculiarities, if you like your privacy, some of these things, put it into context. And these are things that professionals can always guide you on. The area you're buying as well. Some area, we sit down and on our Instagram and we're scrolling and we say, 6 meters from the new international airport in Ekpe, 30 minutes from Deep Sea Port and all of that. Don't buy based on that.
Those are just marketing stuff.
They are marketers. The minute you pay them, they give you one survey that is not even recognized in Alausa. They are gone. You are now left to your trouble. Your professionals will help you grind down thoroughly. You understand everything you need. And then questions like this exit will also be asked. So if exit is not defined, it might be a struggle for you if you're doing it for an investment. But if it's emotional, like me now, I'm from Osun State, so maybe I say I must build a family home. We see our Eastern brothers do a lot of that. Build a huge family home. That might be cultural influence, some of that. That's a thing. But for an investment person, you sort of need to know the exit plan.
You said something about recognizing fake documents. So I want us to drill down a bit because this is Lagos and a lot of things are going on. So how can I recognize that, this is not, I know that I should not go to, Uncle Sikiru. Right? So how do I recognize fake documents?
One of the first things he said is you need to get a property lawyer. So when you buy a property, you need to do search to ensure that the title is clean and things like that.
Okay.
So you are not going to be the one to know that this document is not good. It's your lawyer that is going to confirm to you that this is good, this is bad, this is red flag. You need to run. You understand? You need to, and then you also go to the Ministry of Lands.
Okay.
There's also Ministry of Housing in Lagos State here. There are searches. They will tell you, this is under a pipeline. This is this, this is that. Those are the people that would actually give you what you need. A lot of people don't go through all of those steps and they just say, what's that popular one that they give them CFO and they just move on with their life.
So there's a thing they say, some will tell you it's global CFO. Global CFO means maybe, the whole of Gerard is on one CFO. So imagine that is given to you. Sort of need to cascade things down to your own plot size or unit size, so to say. So another thing to note is it has become so crazy that even the lawyers at times, they miss it. That's where the scary point is. I think in my sojourn, I have seen a clone that even us, we did not know that it's a clone. They are that good. Imagine if you're buying a property in Ikoyi, and maybe they've built it, they've bought the land maybe 60 years ago. You don't expect it to be fresh. These guys will clone it that it will seem as if cockroach has even eaten the paper. They will clone it as bad as that. And yet it's still a clone, So it's you'd still need the authorities. Yeah. The government has a place where they archive. So CFO has your own copy, the government's copy. So they need to sort of match together and all of that. Even though there are still dirty activities around it, there's still the Nigerianism around it. But then try and do proper due diligence, get the professionals to certify.
That's a new word, Nigerianism. Nigerianism, that's interesting. That makes sense because you hear people saying different things. There are some people that would even buy lands and they're not in Nigeria and there's no one really helping them to manage, and they come back later and they're saying, oh, that even reminds me, there's a friend of mine that she asked someone to help her buy land. And she came back later, they took something, the CFO is not correct, and just a lot of different things going on. So again, I'm just trying to reinforce.
So let me chip into your friend's experience. And this thing happens in those emerging areas like the Atons in Ota, the Ekpe, and all of that. A lot of people bought forest or agric land, and I'm being real with you. So the allocation, there's allocation for each area. So you would hear from professionals, they'll say, oh, this place is a mixed use. So when they say mixed use, that means you can either build for commercial purpose, that's maybe an office building, an event center, whatever, and then you have the residential. So you can have both residential and commercial in a mixed use. There are core commercial areas, the CBDs. You can't say you want to build your family house in Broad Street. Those are commercial areas. You can't, So there are some residential areas that have now been ratified to commercial. And we find that in likes of Majose Adeogun. We find them in likes of Lekki, Phase 1, Admiralty Way. And some of those places used to be residential, but ratification came and then they have mixed use approval and all. There's core residential. So you find that in some areas like Omole Phase 2, where even if you put a window house for your security man who's going to sell Tom, the estate will come and close it down, or even Lagos State. So imagine your friend bought a forest in Ekpe now. The allocation for there is a forest reserve. That's what government has kept it for. But so real estate company has gone ahead to start selling. Affordable is just 400,000 per plot. And you, based on that campaign, you have bought. You now say you want to build. You go to Lagos, you find out that you have just bought forest. Maybe you can bring some of your ancestors. There, so those are some of the integral reasons why due diligence is key, because you will get to know all the back end story.
That's very, very interesting.
Yes,
and then the issues that people face with regards to Omonile, is this something that would ever go away? Would it ever go away?
It's actually subdued at the moment. So we have a lot of the so-called Omoniles too now. They use some of those monies paid to them to send some of their children to school. So some of them have standardized their operations. You will find out that some areas, the family of so owns this. So when you buy your land from maybe a Bowale who had bought from them initially, they will tell you to come and get family receipts.
Okay.
Right? So there's that structure, hierarchy around Olori Ebi. You want to see the Bale, you want to see the Kabiyesi and all of that. You find those things where you take your shinaps to them and you pay them their money and they're happy and everybody goes. But then there's still that, let me be careful with my choice of words. There's still that Nigerianism where you are doing a milestone.
I was just waiting for you to say Nigerianism.
I'm just being careful in my head. Where they come, you're doing a milestone. Maybe you're doing your foundation. Efunwalo now. Some of them would come and then you just oblige them. Maybe sit down, you give them something, and everything is fine. But there's the case where some of them are dubious, and that's the reason why we still insist: go and do your due diligence, register your documents. So there are cases where people have bought their lands, they have their CFO, and they go to bed. And they hear that, somebody has encroached on your land. You say, don't worry, when I'm ready, I'll go there. And you would hear that, how come they had built houses in this area and they're now saying one man came from somewhere and one is Supreme Court case? It's because that man has the original title and there's an history backing him. And there's several cases like that in Lagos today, whereby you are rebuying the property, the land you had already bought before, and the real owner will appraise it at his own market value. So it's because it's whoever owns the land that owns the property. So if you like, go and build on my land. It's my house you are building for me at your own cost. So those are some of the things to consider.
You want to add to that?
I mean, I was going to say that if not for the Nigerianism, what is?
Let's get Oxford. Let's get Oxford to recognize this word now.
Nigerianism.
What is Omonile that we cannot abolish? Because I mean, this is the 21st century, right? It's 2025. Yes, these people are able to send one or two of their children to school, but I mean, the only thing I can say is that the percentage of Omonile may have just reduced from maybe 70% to 56%, but it's still a problem. You cannot want to, even you would think that, okay, maybe this Omonile thing is popular in maybe the rural areas, even in urban areas, it's still very much prevalent. You understand? And then because of that, there's additional cost on construction because you have to employ services of soldiers and security men to ensure that they don't disrupt. Because every day that there's a disruption on site, it costs you more money. That's idle time.
So I cannot just vex and say, no, you're not. I cannot pay.
My sister.
and I think they have a tactic. They usually come maybe when you have just mixed your concrete.
You understand?
And you cannot afford. So you know that if you lose that time, it turns into a stone.
And it's useless to you. Bags and bags.
You know, so the strategy to everything. Even they are elites in their process.
They evolve. No,
so it's a thing.
I mean, I wish that Nigeria can get to a point.
No, the government owns the rights. The governor of the state owns the rights to every land. So, hence, if you are well titled, you'll be fine.
Well titled to.
Well titled means get your documents registered in your name or your corporate entity when you're buying any property. So even when they come with their trouble, yes, they might impact you by time.
Okay.
Because that means you might have to go to court, litigation, or one sentiment or the other. But the fact remains, you own rights to that land. So
bottom line is, do your due diligence.
Yes, do your due diligence, get your documents done right, and you might go to bed happy man.
Thank you. Okay, so another question here is land banking in Nigeria still a smart move? So maybe we want to explain what land banking is, and then is this still a smart move for, people, investors generally?
So land banking in a layman's term is you buying a land, holding it till it appreciates and you sell off, right?
Yeah.
It is and remains a good approach. Again, based on the industry I work, I would insist on you doing the analysis. What's the thing that drives the price of a land? Infrastructure is the first thing.
Okay.
So let's cast our mind to, I remember I think I was really young when VGC was under construction. And I knew of somebody that used to say, allow me use his exact word. That means water will sweep everyone away. Because that was what it was at that time.
Right.
But then the Lagos state government at the time was driving the expansion and openness of that area. So they diverted quite a lot of infrastructural development towards that area. Today, VGC is what it is.
Yeah.
It's one of the strongest places you can hold an asset in Lagos, right? So that man, and I have been opportune to see, maybe because I work in the real estate space, I've been opportune to see people's title, and you see maybe 2,500 naira. He got a CFO at the time. Let's cast our mind to what a VGC is selling today. I remember on social media early this year, someone said he bought a plot in Lekki Phase 1 at 20,000 in 1990 something. I can't remember the year.
Wow.
That is Lekki. We have Lekki today selling for 900,000 naira per square meter, even up to 1 million naira per square meter. That same Lekki Phase 1. So imagine that person just bought it, held it. So those things are happening, but the likes of Ekpe, Shagam and all of those places, they are showing promises too. So if you want to actually land bank, have a strategy to it. How long? And that's why I insisted in my first point that exit is key. Yeah. How long do you want to hold for? Because you cannot say because you're 30 years today and the money you want to use to pay for your child's secondary school, which might be, and you're having those kids now and it's another 7 years, is what you are now using to buy land. Maybe that time infrastructure has not even crawled to that area. So you need to sort of understand your exit, and patient capital is one thing you need to have for you to land bank. So it still remains a very attractive.
I remember before my late grandmother passed, we were talking sometime, and then she told me the total cost of that house was about 100 naira.
Jesus.
It was a 4-story building. I'm not even joking. So, I mean, everything that Babatunde said is valid.
What?
However,
100 naira.
In recent times, I read somewhere that if you purchase the land and you don't build on top of it, I think maybe in 10 years or something that you forfeit it to the government.
That's so something.
How does that come into practice if you are trying to go into land banking? Because I mean, if I don't erect something on this structure, or I might forfeit it to the government.
So that happens in urban areas a lot, not in some of those emerging areas. You understand? Because imagine they look at the so-called Ekpe now, and they say everybody that owns land there, government has reverted the rights. But it's all the land now. So development hasn't come there, but you would find out that maybe even in Ikoyi, you'll be driving, you'll see about 10 beautiful houses and you see one empty bushy land.
That makes sense, yes.
And that, or maybe an uncompleted house, that can harbor armed robbers and attack to the area. So those are the kind of places where they're using such laws to sort of drive people to. I remember one time when I think it was during Fashola time, and they were writing to people that get your house painted in 1 month, or government would visit you, because those houses are on the main road. Aesthetically, they're not even exactly. Government has done its bit. It has built a good road. It has put street light, and your house looks like it has lapa. So you sort of need to do your own bit. Plant flowers is good for your health. It also beautifies the city. So some of these laws actually not to make us uncomfortable. They're just to complement the good work ongoing by the government as well.
Okay, thank you very much. I wish we can just go on and on, because I have so much to ask.
There's a lot to talk about.
Thank you very much for your time. So thank you very much, viewers, for your time. And if you enjoyed this content today, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Till the next time we come your way, keep investing.